My name is Chris. You know me. I work under my full name, Chris Lisa Liefting, and I work as a visual artist. I sometimes do directing. I've done that once now for music videos, so videography, but I also make photos and do illustrations, and my main love is paint and drawing and all things still imagery that I create myself. Yes.
Great.
And my name is David Owen Blackley, and I run Her Name is Murder Productions. We mainly specialise in music video production and music documentary production.
Okay. You want to start now?
Okay, I'll start then.
Yeah.
Well, for me, life has pretty much stayed the same, which I'm very thankful for, because being creative is a real massive part of my life. Obviously, it takes up, and I don't mean that in a negative sense, but it does take up a lot of my time. A lot of my job requires editing. With Her Name is Murder Productions, I do the pre-production, the production, and the post-production. So that was a blessing in disguise for something as, out of the ordinary as what's going on at the moment, because it's allowed me to continue working through the post-production side of things. I had quite a busy year in 2019, so I still had a lot of shoots that needed to be edited. And so that's been great for me, because I've been able to still work from home, which is what I did already, and continue editing. The thing that has changed, obviously, is that I can't tour with bands at the moment. There's like no studio work, there's no music video shoots, but that's okay as well, because it's allowed me to have a bit of breathing space with my post-production and my client turnovers. And yeah, I've just been able to focus on that. And then the other things in my life that I enjoy, which is like running and reading and watching movies and stuff like that. So yeah, for me, it's just been quite nice. It's, obviously a lot is changing outside and for other people, but in terms of my work, things have pretty much stayed the same for the most part.
Okay.
For me, I think it's been really lovely in the sense that I've had more time to work on my actual making practice. Last year I moved back with Dave to the country that I was born in, and it's been really lovely settling into it and settling into the community of the city that I live in at the moment, with work, or my side job in a way, and with the people I've gotten to know, you as well. So that's been really lovely, but I've felt very out of house all the time. So it's been really lovely that I've had more time at home, and also I'm a bit of an ambivert, so both sides have been really good for me. The social side and takes up more time now in a different way, but I really have been enjoying being in one place and feeling at home there. And I don't know if that has to do with quarantine or with the fact that we just moved as well to our own apartment, but it definitely has something to do with the atmosphere the world is in at the moment, where it really seems to, for better or for worse, you have to be where you are. And so, and that's always been a big part of my art practice, is me looking around and drawing mostly, and painting, and finding both inspiration in my head and in my direct environment, really. So if you're talking about my actual art practice, I guess it hasn't changed in its shape, but I've had more time for it, and that has been lovely. I've felt more grounded in it, yeah. I guess we're both very lucky in that respect, because we're used to it. You more so than me, of course, because you've been traveling so much and had to make different places your workspace. But for me last year, because we were traveling around, and the year before that, and last year we lived in Lisbon for a while, I struggled a lot with, you're at home all the time. Good luck being productive. And so staying sane in that sense just applying a lot of what I already did in my day-to-day life. So doing it sounds so cliche because you read it everywhere, right? But exercising in the morning and meditating and taking care of myself, also in the sense that I don't have to be super productive all the time. I mean, I'm Dutch, and so sometimes that is not a thing that my brain wants to do. I don't know if that's specifically Dutch, but it feels like it. Dutch people are just like, hey, you get through it, and you just go, you just do it. And so I've been really trying, I guess, also to work less, because there's also space to work less in a way. And that has kept me sane. And to also just let myself feel the magnitude of things. I find it hard to articulate these things properly, but I and also because I read them everywhere, I feel like maybe I'm repeating myself, or not myself, but the word out there. But I do think that is super important, and it's not necessarily about the yoga, I guess, or things like that. I guess it's more about finding the things that keep me in the moment, and that keep me realizing that today is a day and then tomorrow will be another day. Because that was the main thing for me. I was just like, I usually make plans and I'm like, next month I'm gonna be in what country, and then in 2 months I'm gonna be in that course, and now I'm really just like, anything other than next week, I don't know.
What's happening today?
Yes.
True.
So, and that's quite nice, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like having a bit more time to breathe is nice, because like my editing workload at the moment is essentially exactly the same as it has always been, but normally I would have to slot that in between going away from home to tour, to do shoots, to live with bands doing documentaries. So now that, you know, that's on hiatus at the moment, it has allowed me to kind of spread out my post-production workload, and I'm still doing the same things in my free time that I was doing before, but I guess I'm definitely more present with everything I'm doing now, and so that really has inspired me, I suppose, to maintain this balance that I have now onto the future. Because I'm sure like at some stage I'll be able to tour again and to go out and work with bands. But I have to be honest that I really enjoy the pace of everything at the moment. The world in a way is more at my ideal pace. I don't want to take away from anyone that is going through hardship or knows of people that are struggling, because that definitely is a reality. We are in a fortunate position where we still have our work and our livelihood. We have company because we live together as well, and our friends and family are healthy and safe. So yeah, I always feel like it's a double-edged sword, because of the way I am to talk about how this has been a great positive thing for me, because I know that that's not the case for everyone, but you know, I guess we're here talking about us, and for me, there are a lot of positives in this, but I'm in the position where I can experience those positives. So I'm very like thankful for that and humbled by that. But yeah, I guess like it's business as normal, but the business has changed a little bit as well, which is exciting as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of a welcomed evolution in a way.
And I guess definitely in the like you said as well in the beginning, it was really overwhelming because my day job was stopping for a while. I felt so enveloped, or like all the news was so everywhere, and the whole idea, I think a lot of people would say that like you can't even wrap your mind around. Normally thinking of tragedy in the world is already something that you as a human can't, it's not big enough your head to feel all the just emotions, I guess you could say. But and then now there's so many consequences that we don't know of, or that already have happened, that may come, that it just took too much. And so really it was kind of a necessary thing for me to, you know, I can read the news, but I can only do it once a day or so, and then not go into a scroll frenzy, and then to really also make up for myself. The only thing I can do now is to determine what this means for me and for the people in my close circle, and that is where I can be present. I cannot be present anywhere else, and so that is what I have chosen to not do. And so I hope by choosing that still makes a difference somehow. You know what I mean? Even by not being able to be somewhere else, that you honor that thought with your thoughts. Yeah. So I've been out of art school for a few years now. I've been really enjoying not being in art school, but also I've really missed the because I'm not in a studio at the moment as well, and of course now I couldn't be with like other people. So I've really been enjoying for a while now the Instagram art the Instagram art community, especially, and then especially I guess the illustration side of things, or the painting world, because I feel like there's a lot of people hosting like art live classes. I think there's like someone who's doing an art class every day for kids, especially. There's lots of different things going on, and you can get a bit overwhelmed in that magnitude too. But it really, for me, I feel like everybody is kind of trying to support each other within that. So in my day-to-day life, especially now, it's different because I'm back in my day job and things are moving about a bit more, but in the beginning I was just a bit like, this is different. You know, it was from going out quite a few nights a week to hang with friends or to see people. It was a really welcome difference, but I did definitely start to miss it at some point, and so finding connection in art is something that is in general important to me. I guess art is meaning making for almost everyone in some way or another.
Absolutely.
And to me specifically, it's mostly making meaning of my dreams and my values as a human, and how I connect to the world around me and what I find valuable in my day-to-day life. So getting to focus more on that, as well as seeing other people focusing more on that as well, and trying to lift each other up, has been wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, really getting that sense of community. I have like a lot of friends obviously in bands, and so a big part of their livelihood's been taken away from them because they can't tour. And so it's nice because I've always seen a lot of the bands I work with as friends and family, and we work together so hard on what we do, and then it's released to the world, and it's kind of like that proud parent feeling when you see them reach levels of success or do things that they are setting out to achieve, and they make them a reality. And so I think that mindset doesn't change going into this, because you really want to support each other. And so when you have full-time bands that depend on touring to sell merch, and they make their money out on the road, and now, you know, we have to think of other ways to kind of help each other out, or they have to think outside the box about how they can still generate revenue and income. So that is the same for me as well. I still want to be able to offer what I do for my friends and my clients. So if we can't work in person together, then, you know, how can we still shoot videos together? How can I still deliver them content so they can still keep that ball rolling and that momentum going? And, you know, like I was saying before, I feel very fortunate that I can still work myself. That really pushes me as well to help as much as I can in whatever way that may be, because I really do care for the people I work with.
Do you think also that the artists, or I guess just the people in general that you're working with and for, are more willing to try and experiment with, for example, at home shooting, or different concepts than normal because of this whole situation.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome. Like
Because you're always trying to push that kind of stuff, which is the cool thing about your work.
Thanks. It's nice because I can justify it as because my style is in a way I like to be raw and emotional, but still maintain a very cinematic aspect to what I do. So for me, it's easy to justify having someone in the band shoot their own scenes because it in a way makes it quite intimate and it does make it very vulnerable and raw and all that stuff, which I love. But to answer your question, yeah, it's great because also, yeah, like I was saying about thinking outside the box, it's working just not for myself, but with bands. Bands really do want to keep pushing content and releasing content. And, you know, it's really unfortunate timing whenever this would happen because so many bands have got their new album ready to release or, you know, they're about to tour for whatever reason. So bands, of course, want to still keep moving forward as well. And normally that would involve, say, for example, shooting a music video. So they're definitely interested and on board with trying to still make that a reality. And
to like step out of their own comfort zone, maybe. In a way.
Exactly, and it's like quite sweet actually seeing bands give it a go. And you know, so like my job, you know, this isn't an ideal situation that I would normally do, but this is what we have to work with in a way. So of course then I'm going to embrace it completely, and this is what I'm doing now. And so my job is to like give the bands a full detailed concept with, you know, scene breakdowns, pictures, video examples, as much reference as possible. So then it's up to them to kind of take that and then make that into a reality. And it's just really lovely seeing them do it and have fun with it and get the results. And I don't know, it's nice because making a music video with a band already is such a bonding experience. It's really something very unique and pure. And then this is kind of not taking it more so, but it's in another way, and it is very bonding because they're even more involved in the collaboration process. And even if it's not in the collaboration process, they're involved in the execution process, which is new for them as well, and it is exciting for them. And so that is turning a negative into a positive, which of course is a really lovely thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to look forward to shooting things with bands again and myself in person, but you know, in the meantime, this is really quite a nice substitute.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because like I've been on sets with you and like, but also I've heard a lot of stories about you and how, you know, often as a director / videographer you have to like, or cinematographer, you have to like work with someone and try for them to, you know, reach a part of themselves that might not come naturally, or it might, but then it might not. And now they really have to do that by themselves. But maybe they'll have an extra boost from it too, or to do that because they want to, and they're like, oh, well, I have to do it or something. That's what I can imagine at least, and that's what I've been thinking about.
They're putting themselves out there for their art as well in another way. Like obviously they're already putting themselves out there by creating it in the first place.
But so are you though, because you're taking on like work from someone who's not a professional.
Yeah.
So you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah. Which.
And then everybody's doing that.
Yeah, and I've chose not to see that as a daunting thing or a setback. I'm welcoming the challenge. So yeah, I mean, it's different at the moment in terms of making music videos. But yeah, I don't know, it's quite exciting. I have an artist shooting in Queensland this weekend, and you know, gauging who he is and the style of his music, and knowing that he would have to shoot it most likely maybe with his wife or someone close to him, I really tailored the concept accordingly to the strengths of what we have to work with and who he probably is going to be working with. And I'm like really, really excited about it. And so that concept is like super rich with detail and examples and everything. And, you know, I wholeheartedly believe that when I get the footage back, it'll be in a way as if I did it myself. Like, of course, it's not going to be exactly like that, but I'm really confident and excited about it. And yeah, so it is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
And maybe it's also nice
But-
because you usually do so much yourself.
Yeah.
So it is cool.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like what I do with the online courses or the online chats and with other people art making. And I kind of just have to go with whatever's happening. I'm like, oh, this is a 30-second draw, okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's not direct input from someone else, but it feels like it though. Because you're doing it together. I don't believe in that separation. It's nice. It's a cool feeling, yeah. I guess I have been I'm not saying this to brag, because you know how in interviews you're like, I'm a perfectionist, and people are like, oh really, we want you in our team. But I'm like, I'm a perfectionist, and it's shitty, because really it means that I either never release things that I've made, or I'm already like beating them down once I've just made them, or once I've just released them, or I just like, I'm in my head all the time and I don't make things at all. So what I'm taking with me, and what we were talking about before, is really like, where am I at now? And how can I honor that is such a spirit-weary way of saying it, but how can I like play into that and really make the most out of where I am, and also just sometimes let myself fuck around because I'm such a thinker in the sense that I'll be like, and then I'll make this and then that will come out of it. But really, once I start making something, it never ever turns out the way I think it will. And that is a blessing. So maybe that's just basic art stuff, basic maker stuff or basic creator stuff. But really that's something that I'm going to take with me. It's just, there is no time like the now to do what you can with what you have now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right, because normally we don't have the time to stop and realize these things. Like,
or we don't make it, at least. I don't make the time often.
Exactly. If I try and think back to the epiphanies I've had within myself and my creative business, it's been at moments of reprise, like where I've had a moment to slow down. And so it makes sense what you're saying now, because there is that breathing space. There's that time to kind of stop, look around, breathe in, breathe out, and reevaluate, I guess, where you want to be and where you want to take that.
And also just, because for me, I'm always thinking about the next step, as so many of us are, I think, where you're like, I just did this, no matter that, I just did my first mural, doesn't matter, where do I want to be? Like, also just to really be like, where I am is very nice.
Letting that soak in.
Yeah.
And ferment and enjoying it,
And like, so the course I'm doing online, so it's an illustration course, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever online community-based event that I'm doing, in general a community-based event, but in this sense online and international, it's so nice because every time, and this sounds so stupid, but everybody bumps into the exact same things as me as an artist. Like, there's someone who's like 65 and she teaches the course. I don't know if she's 65, by the way, if she sees it, I don't know. She's older than my mum, and and she's wonderful. She's talking about the exact same struggles that I have, and she's been in this job for more than 40 years, and I'm just like, well, that's a relief. I am no special whatsoever. It's wonderful. And then at the same time, I'm like, so if that is the case, then nobody's really thinking about me, which is already something that you should realize every day, you know, in the most positive sense, that nobody is thinking of you like, what is Chris wearing today? What is she doing with her life? Is she being productive today?
Where is she up to with that drawing?
Yeah. Nobody is thinking, not even you are thinking that way. You're only thinking, oh, gee, is she happy? And then you talk to me about it, and that's it, in a lovely sense. So what I'm taking with me really is a sense of both making my work a priority, and also realizing that it is not of importance in the big scheme of things, and that it is all part of being.
So what would you say, like, what things are you learning along the way at the moment in terms of your personal life that then would have an effect on your creative balance and output?
Yeah, so I often feel like I'm repeating myself, mainly because I think these things to myself all the time, but I really feel like this sense of being good enough is not always there, but it's something that I'm always trying to establish. And that is part of me personally, and part of me professionally, and part of me creatively. That wherever I am and whatever I do, is that kind of what you were meaning?
Yeah,
Like that sense, that feeling.
Definitely, that's a part of it. And I was just curious as well in terms of like the lifestyle balance ratio between like taking time for yourself and focusing on stopping to smell the roses, so to speak, and if you have been doing things like that, and if so, the effect that you think that that's had on your creativeness.
Yeah, I've been trying, like what we were talking about before, I've been trying not to make every minute productive or about something. Like, I think it was a few weeks ago where you said to me, if you love that podcast so much, just also sit on the couch and just listen to that podcast, and don't do it while you're cooking or cleaning or doing
drawing
or whatever it is that you're doing at that moment. And that sounds really stupid, but that was like an epiphany for me, because I was listening to it. I was like, wow, I feel so calm. I'm not doing multiple things at one time. So, and that is I think for my generation, for your generation, or your peers, what do you call that? That's a big thing in general, to not have to do everything at once, and taking time for myself in that sense of just letting myself breathe a bit, because I really figured that I don't often, because in my head, right, then I'm doing my day job, and then that somehow doesn't count as time.
Yeah.
But it's time that I put into something, and that I need to take something out of, because I still choose to do that. So that's a big thing, where I want to be, just then wherever I am, not constantly thinking forward. Yeah, we were talking about that before. Is that, yeah?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, just because I think that's quite an important thing to talk about as well, because you were mentioning before that, how active your mind is, just like all of us, I'm sure. At the end of the day, we're all so crazy up in our heads. Just, the importance of self-care and self-love. That obviously has really monumental effects, not just on yourself, but then on your art and your creativeness.
I think for me, I did crave, like, I guess maybe I craved other people at one point for sure, but it's been really good. Also, because we're newly moved in, and it really gave us the opportunity to make this a home.
Yeah.
Very quickly. And I guess by now we're very used to each other's creative waves and schedules.
Yeah. We're good at kind of reading each other and also listening to each other as well. And because we've had a fair bit of experience now with each other, that comes quite naturally now. So we really kind of pick each other up when it's needed. And also apply attention when it's not needed as well, because it's not just about waiting till someone needs to be picked up or someone's, you know, needing something to then finally do something about it. I don't know, I think I like calling us partners. I know that it sounds really old fashioned and a bit of a label, but like in the truest sense, we are a really good partnership. We're a good team. Which I value, because that's kind of something that you really look for when you decide you want to have a relationship with someone, and it does make a big difference to kind of be a team together and be there for each other.
I could never have expected it to be like this, but I'm really happy that it is like this.
And
very grateful for it.
And it's important as well to give each other space. Especially...
Which is an easy thing to say, but sometimes...
Yeah.
It's also important, I think, to ask for space.
Yeah.
Because I have a tendency to kind of not ask it in a healthy way, maybe from my childhood or from, like, you know, where I can get a bit cranky and a bit like irritated about things, and really all you need to do is, well, all you need to do is also simply said, but you know, you ask. But then it comes now to a point where we often don't need to ask, I think. And then if we do, then that's no thing as well. And what I really enjoy a lot is because we've only recently actually worked together properly on a project, which was released recently. A music video, and I got to direct and you got to shoot, but really we were partners in that.
Yeah.
But what you were just saying about us being partners in general, like, you filter into my art and I filter into your art. And that's
by
wonderful.
choice, which is even better. It's you know, one thing to be creatives, but like it's one thing for us both to be creatives. And I don't know, but I could imagine maybe in some circumstances there's a pressure to collaborate or to share or to call each other's muses or inspirations or whatever, because you're both involved in that world. But I love like doing things with you, and also not like it's if it serves the project, or if I think you could add something great to it, and it's just really lovely to have that option, and also that creative mind to play with and to work with. Yeah, it's really nice. And of course, like, Chris is always the first person that sees the edit before it goes to the band, and you know, you're the first person that if I'm going to ask anyone for advice or an opinion, it'll be you, because also she knows me, and she knows by now as well, like, what my business is about and what I'm trying to achieve with that and what type of stuff I'm wanting to put out. So it's nice having that partner, that team member that knows me but also knows my work. That's like a really lovely feeling, for sure. Yeah.
I think also because I was talking before about how the inspiration in my art is the way I connect to my day-to-day life. So in that sense, you are very much part of what I make, not maybe visibly or as a direct subject, but it's definitely true. And the life that we make and the things that I discover, or how I get to know myself more deeply, both through you and the world around me and myself, it's like a very nice spiral feeling. That just, it kind of doesn't, oh man, that feels so cliche, but it doesn't stop. And that feels like a really lovely partnership.
Because we also look out for each other on a personal level as well. So when I'm working too hard and fast and I don't see it myself, and I'm not taking time to stop and look after myself, you know, of course you notice those things. And when I notice that Chris needs to work on chilling out, you know, like we're there for each other to help, I don't know, not improve each other, but just like look out for each other. And of course, like, I'm always going to listen to what Chris says to me, because I respect her and value her, and she knows me. So if she's seeing something about myself that I'm too blind to see for whatever reason, I'm going to take the time to listen to it. And even if it's something that may piss me off at first or I don't necessarily understand, I'll still definitely will always listen to it and let it sink in. And then like sometimes I'll come back to you. Usually now it's like maybe within minutes a lot of the
Oh,
time.
now you're very quick.
And I'll be like, yeah, you're right about that. Like if she'll tell me something and I kind of don't really say much, it's because I need to like think about it for a second, and then I'll come back when it makes sense to me, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I need to do X and Y.
Oh, and the same thing the other way around though. Like things sit with me and they soak in, and I you know, I'm really aware of the world around me. I try to be very on things, but really like you both give me space.
Give up.
Yeah.
Accept the inevitable.
Lie down. You know, go back to your 9 to 5 when you can. I think it's an advice that I think applies to anyone, which is try and find connection to others and to those you love. Maybe also through them with yourself, where you can. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to move mountains. You can just be where you are right now. And if there is grief involved in that, then I would say, if you want to use that in your work, use it. If you don't want to, that's okay too. And if you are finding that there's more positives for you than you expected, then that is a really wonderful gift too, and don't feel ashamed about that. I think it's really, life does go on, and I think as an artist, you are at an advantage because you have a creative mind. I think everybody has creative minds, by the way. But I think as an artist, you have a creative mind, and you can use it to make something out of a situation that you never expected would be this way, and shape it and find connection in it.
Yeah, nice. Well, I think connection is important as well. What I would say is the connection with yourself. So the community thing is very, very important and vital. And then additionally to that, I would say at this point in time, take the time on yourself. Because not everyone's going to be able to work right now, and some people might be finding themselves with a lot of time on their hands, or whatever it may be, or reevaluating what to do next. And I think now's a really great time as well to have that space to reflect and to really evaluate what is important to yourself, what you value, what makes you happy, and where you want to put your time and energy. And you know, all those things anyway naturally are going to have such a massive impact on what you create. And I always feel anyway like my best work comes from when I'm feeling centered and grounded, and I'm believing in what I do, and I'm making me. And to do that requires various things of myself that contribute towards my self-happiness. So I think this is a really important time to take that time for oneself.
And then if you can't, you know, if you're with kids or your family and you're taking care more than you normally do, or you know, whatever situation you are in, just try and deal with it. And I mean that in the kindest way possible. You're doing enough, and if you want to do more, then try and do more. And then if you don't, something will happen.
Yeah, be kind to yourself. Yeah, you say this to me a lot as well, that you do enough, and I think it's we always wish we can do more, and for some of us there's time to do that, and some people there's not. So just as well, more now than ever as well, be gentle to yourself and be kind to yourself as well. Yeah, because it can be hard to find time for self-love. So if all the time that you feel that you have is to think about self-love and think things to yourself, then that is still something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
kind of self-advice things are make me feel a bit awkward.
Yeah, well, it's hard though, right? Because it feels really cliche really quickly.
Yeah.
And I guess we both want to honor whatever situation anyone could be in.
Yeah.
But I think if there's any advice I would give anyone that I love, it's always like be as sweet to yourself as you can be. It's the most important act you can do right now. And within that, you'll find a spot that is you, and from that you can be you in the world and serve the world in that way.
And reach out to other people, family, friends, or other creatives, even people that you look up to as well. You never know, like they might have the time on their hands or the space to be able to get back to you, or just, you know, at least writing something out and expressing that can make a big difference to yourself as well. But yeah, never be scared to talk and to ask for help, or just to talk about things that are inspiring you or on your mind. If you don't have the time to create right now, maybe there's someone you can talk to about the ideas that you have, or what you're enjoying at the moment, and what's really making you happy creatively. Something is better than nothing.
And if all you can do is light a candle for yourself, then that is all you can do, and that's okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For giving me your time and talking about everything. Is there anywhere people can find you if they want to know more, see your work?
For sure. The World Wide Web is a magical place.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's that thing. It just floats around. Sometimes open. No, I'm on Instagram at @ChrisLisaLiefting. And I also have a website, chrislisaliefting.com, which I highly recommend to check out because I really like it. Put a lot of work into it. It's a cool place.
It's very, very amazing. It's true. I have a website with my super long business name, www.hernameismurderproductions.com, but then all the socials are @HNIMP, so it's just the first letter of each word, which is a bit less effort to type.
Yes, and your Instagram and Vimeo is really cool. So
yeah, particularly if people are interested in checking out what I do, my video work, my Vimeo is the nicest center point to go to.
And also we just released a music video together. You'll find it on there as well. Dreamtime Arrows by MJ Andrews.
Yeah, I was like, do you want to plug it?
Name drop it. There we go. Alright, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.